My family is pressuring me to give my 23F sister my 628F wedding venue because she needs it more and is pregnant. I never thought I'd be posting here, but what my family did has completely changed the way I see them. I'm 28F and getting married in 3 months. My fiance, Jake, and I have been together for 5 years. We spent almost 2 years saving for our wedding because neither of us comes from money. The biggest thing we paid for was our venue, a beautiful lakeside estate that books more than a year in advance. The deposit was huge and non-refundable, but we loved it. It was the first thing we booked and honestly the thing I was most excited about. My younger sister, Emily, is 23. Growing up, she was always the favorite. If she wanted something, my parents found a way to make it happen. If I wanted something, I was told to be patient and understanding. A few months ago, Emily announced she was pregnant. The father is her boyfriend of less than a year. Everyone was thrilled, except for one problem. They couldn't afford a wedding. At first, I felt bad for them. Then, my parents called a family meeting. My mom looked at me and said, "Emily deserves your venue." I honestly laughed because I thought she was joking. She wasn't. My parents wanted me to transfer my venue reservation, wedding date, and several vendor bookings to Emily so she could get married before the baby arrived. I reminded them that Jake and I paid for everything ourselves. My dad shrugged and said, "You can always get married later." Emily started crying and said she had always dreamed of a beautiful wedding. I said no immediately. The room exploded. My parents accused me of abandoning family. Emily said I was punishing her for being pregnant. I left. The next few days were a nightmare. Family members I hadn't spoken to in years suddenly started messaging me. Apparently, my parents had been telling everyone that I refused to help my pregnant sister. I received dozens of texts calling me selfish. One aunt actually told me, "You'll understand when you have children." I almost blocked everyone. Then things got weird. A week later, I received a call from my vendor coordinator. She sounded concerned. She asked if I had authorized a transfer of ownership for my wedding contract. I said absolutely not. The coordinator explained that someone had been calling repeatedly asking how to move the reservation into another person's name. That person was my mother. I was furious. When I confronted my parents, they didn't even deny it. My mom said she was just exploring options. My dad said I was overreacting. Emily claimed she knew nothing about it. At that point, I thought things couldn't get worse. I was wrong. 3 days later, one of my cousins called me. She sounded uncomfortable. Then she asked, "Did you really agree to let Emily use your venue?" I said no. There was a long silence. Then she said, "You should probably check Facebook." My stomach dropped. I opened Facebook and nearly had a heart attack. Emily had posted an engagement announcement. Attached to the post was a picture of my venue, not a similar venue, my venue. The exact venue, the exact wedding date, the exact location. Her caption said, "We can't wait to celebrate our special day with everyone this September." Hundreds of people had already liked and commented. People were congratulating her. Some family members were discussing travel plans. Others were discussing gifts. Nobody seemed aware that it wasn't actually her wedding. I immediately called Emily. She answered on the first ring. I asked her why she was telling people she had my venue. Her response was, "Mom said you'd eventually come around." I was speechless. She genuinely believed that if enough people thought the venue was hers, I would give up and hand it over. Then came the final betrayal. 3 days later, one of my cousins sent me screenshots from a family group chat I wasn't included in. My parents had been discussing ways to pressure me into giving up the venue. One message from my mother literally said, "If enough relatives refuse to attend her wedding, she'll have no choice." Another said, "Emily needs this more than she does." I sat there reading the messages over and over. The plan was never to act. The plan was to bully me until I surrendered. That night, Jake and I made a decision. We hired a lawyer. The lawyer immediately sent a formal cease and desist letter demanding Emily stop presenting the venue as hers and warning my parents not to interfere with our contracts. The reaction was unbelievable. My parents called me crying. Emily accused me of destroying her pregnancy. Several relatives claimed I had gone too far. But something unexpected happened. Once the screenshots started circulating, people began realizing what had actually happened. Family members who had been criticizing me suddenly switched sides. Several apologized. One aunt actually admitted she'd only heard my parents' version of the story. Then the biggest twist happened. My grandmother, the woman everyone in the family listens to, found out. She called a family gathering. After hearing everything, she looked directly at my parents and said, "You should be ashamed of yourself." Then she turned to Emily and said, "Being pregnant does not entitle you to someone else's life." For the first time, nobody argued, nobody defended them, nobody supported them. The room was completely silent. Today, my wedding is still happening at my venue. My parents aren't invited. Emily isn't invited. And according to several relatives, they're still furious with me. Part of me feels guilty, but another part of me feels like I finally stopped being the family doormat. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to give my pregnant sister my wedding venue after my family tried to take it from